So I just come in gently and you hear those clicks? Yeah. All right, so supporting that joint and moving it side to side. I can even do all of his fingers while I'm at it. And I can diagnose from here. This is a great area to diagnose from. So if I'm getting a very limited range of motion, which is fairly limited, it's not extremely limited, but it's fairly limited in here, I know that that finger's tight. Now I can also have a feel of this one. And again, we're not getting a huge range of motion here, okay? Great diagnostic area. Okay.
So you know if there's not much motion in the tops of the fingers, that's the band
Yeah,
really
yeah.
follow.
And so it's both of these fingers that are the worst. This one's, cause you know, this one's actually pretty, it's okay, you know? Like you can see how, you can feel that joint, it's got
I find a lot of stiff fingers.
yeah. And this one, it feels, even this joint doesn't have a great range of motion, right? Whereas this joint's a bit better, but then this one's not good. And I often find that. So I might even, I don't have to come in and do this finger next, even though it does need it, but this one and this one need it more. So I might start here.
So how do you know that?
By the joints.
Okay.
Limited range. See the limited range of motion that I'm able to get out of that joint? You watch after I do the tip of the finger and the sides.
Okay.
That'll increase rapidly. Okay, so pay attention. That's how much I can move it.
Yeah.
Okay, right now. Very limited range of motion, yeah?
Yeah.
You want to see that? Yeah. Okay. Now we'll see what happens when I do this. Again, I can get Dave to breathe, but it's not a fast, never use a fast jabbing motion. Sensitive, gentle, going in and sensing. Like it feels automatically, I can feel how charged it is, so I know that that's going to quickly hit his threshold. I can ask him, Dave, how's that out of 10? 9? Okay, so that's, I don't want to go much harder. I just want to hold it there and let him breathe into it. Sometimes I feel energy come into my arms, you know, I can shake that off, come back. And you can see how easy it is to hit his threshold here. It's not a heavy pressure, but because it's so tight, and it's not because of his pain threshold, it's because he's so tight. Anybody who gets this tight will have, it'll be sensitive, okay? And as we loosen it, it'll be less sensitive. Simple. So again, I just let him breathe. I change my angle. So changing the angle, even though it looks so slight, it's very different sensation, okay? So I'm finding where the chart, it's like a, I don't know, like a laser beam is the best way, but the slight change is and again, I can feel it because my hand over here is up here. It's pushing a lot of energy up here, right into my arm.
What do you experience? Because that, I haven't experienced of yet.
Oh, okay. I feel like I got to shake my arm to get it. It's coming into my arm. That's all I can say.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. I'm a glorified sewage worker. You know that. Fucking took on the job. It's like.
I think human sparking, human electrician is a really good way of explaining what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Because you
But
could say, like when the tension was
you get
it's
some
like
crappy
short
electrical
circuit.
energy, I suppose you could call it.
Yeah, but you could say like you're basically short circuiting, and that's why it makes sense in the page.
Do you feel that? Do you ever feel that?
Well, that's what you could explain the tension as, and that you're coming here to release it because that's what you just your earthing it.
It's definitely working like with a similar thing to electricity, but it's a human life force.
The energy, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then there's, to me, there's the natural and pure human life force which radiates out from the person, and then there's some sort of crappy, shitty stuff that blocks it and holds it, you know? And that's what we're trying to get rid of, so that the natural life force can just flow. And partly, partly it not being obstructed, but then partly whatever it is that's holding it, we get rid of. And that's why people say I feel lighter. Like I feel like a burden's off me after a good massage, you know?
People walk out like marshmallows.
Yeah, that's right. And that's how because they're actually back in tune with their natural flow and whatever we can call this stuff that's sitting on them. And it could be different things for different people because sometimes it's emotional, you know, whatever. It's all crap as far as I'm concerned, right? Shit, it's not what's good for the person. It stifles the person. It's gone and you feel better. Okay? So that's when I say I'm picking up energy, it's the bad energy. Okay? Whereas we're opening up his good energy for himself, and that's why we have a good shower afterward, you know. But hopefully, you know, a lot of it just goes out of his breath, you know, whatever it is that's bad.
When you say about the natural flow, that's when your body's at ease, right?
Yeah,
When it's stuck, it's not ease anymore.
that's right.
So it's dis-ease.
Yeah, that's right.
Dis-ease.
Yeah, disease, yeah. So when we look at, the origin of early English words, like, you
Well,
know,
that's what I think.
yeah, disease.
We have a similar thing in French.
Oh, yeah?
Maladie.
Malady.
No, and mal means,
It's not like the worst of saying it.
right.
Divorced.
What was the last bit you said?
Divorce.
So, yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. It's interesting to look at different cultural perspectives of what is health. You know, going from certain of the Western ones, which tends to be quite superficial and not accepting of, you know, even though they can't really explain the difference between a living body and a dead body. They, you know, they just go, well, it's no longer alive and it no longer has the signs of life, you know? But, well, what is life? You know?
Well, when people think of holistic, I think that's the point that it's holistic.
Yeah.
Not H-O is WHO. It should be,
Yeah.
because it's the whole thing. It's
Yeah.
mind, body, spirit.
That's right.
Everything's connected.
That's right, exactly. So I got a nice click out of that joint that wasn't going before, so I'm making some progress.
Is it moving?
That's the range of motion now I'm getting out of that joint. It's still, I'm still not quite happy with it, okay? But it's a lot better than it was, right? Yeah. So now, but I know that that's pushing him toward a 10, so I'm easing that off a little bit. You can see the redness go into his face. You can see how important this finger is in all, especially that side of his head. So I'm gonna let him breathe without doing anything.
Are you holding tension? Are you holding?
Not with any significant pressure. Just to bring awareness. So that I'm kind of going, because I know this is going to be, it's like,
Letting it process.
yeah, letting him process, letting him be aware that, hey, we're tight here, we're going to be working on a sensitive spot. And I'm going to go in slower and not quite as deep this time on that same spot, because I know how sensitive it is. So we want to get that point where he can just breathe it in. Because he's so tight in there. And again, I'm picking up a lot of that as it moves. And again, just let him breathe into that.
I think going into people's care, which I found really hard, because obviously can't do it and just doing very gentle touch therapy on them. But essentially I've learned so much about the aging process, and a lot of them are just really contorted. And
I always think there's two things going on. There's the aging process, and then there's aging of tension. And you know, one is,
don't use it, lose it.
well, yeah, but it's like arthritis. It's like whenever I work on elderly people that haven't had massage before, these joints become completely stiff. It's so stiff, it's not funny. And you can hardly work on their fingers.
Yeah, like this.
That's right.
Yeah.
So much better to get this out when a person's young or middle-aged than to leave it into their 80s. And here I can feel this clicking now. It's starting to open up a bit, but it's still in a very clicky stage. So I'm going to come back in with the chopstick and let him breathe into that. So I'm paying attention to him and where he's at with it all. And again, as it eases off, I can go in a bit deeper, but I still feel that spot's highly charged. And I think Dave would agree. That's Scottish for, I agree with you, Brandon. It is charged.
Katie dancing.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's takes walking.
That's what I learned when I was in Scotland. When they agree with you, they move their feet like that. I do try and combine a little bit of laughter therapy. You know, sometimes people have to laugh at themselves because they're in pain and laugh and cry.
He's got very expressive feet, this Dave.
Yeah.
He's walking right now.
Yeah. He's actually walking out though.
He's paddling in the Thames.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's so tight in here.
Laughter's the best fun.
Oh yeah.
Unless you're diabetic, then insulin's quite
Or just not having too much sugar. So you can see, it's interesting how many people are tight on this finger.
And it's just like you just.
Oh yeah, I'm not.
Finger, like when his reaction.
Oh yeah, you can see. Okay, this is me just holding the chopstick in place, and this is me just going in a small amount of pressure, and that's the pressure I'm using so that it's not. But it's because he's tight.
Yeah, when I first tried, I made myself really jump on myself. When I
Yeah.
first went in, I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, be more gentle with yourself.
And then hard way.
Yeah. Okay, so then I'm going to try and just, you can see this corner as this band comes around is just so charged. And as I said, this finger, it's actually quite common on a lot of people to be this charged. So I'm just trying to get in there now a little bit and connect from here to here. And this is why I say I spend a lot of time in this area. And then I can come in here and again just so we can